Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Get Since 92. Give you guys the latest exclusive content on new music, entertainment news, and inspirational quotes by me. The Queen's back at it again. Alright, y'all. For those of you who support me, and I really appreciate all the love and the support on my channel. I've noticed that I'm getting more subscribers, but the only thing that really is very important to me is just connect with people on my YouTube channel. That's what's very important. Alright, be prepared. I really have waited for a couple of days to let things die down, to let things simmer down, to recollect my thoughts, to analyze things from my observations and my perspective. So this is going to be another rant. So today's new rant will be fans and stans ruined the art of music. Yes, indeed they have. And I'm pretty much going to say what I'm going to say. And this is going to be a very long video. Not too long, but there are going to be some things that I will express my disdain for, because I'm going to tell y'all something. I do not like today's music climate at all. I don't like today's music. And really, not only that, but just how the lack of appreciation for music, because it's kind of like this. If people like their favorite artist, they like their favorite artist, they love their favorite artist, that's it. We all know music is subjective, but for people to just love music, let them enjoy music, let them enjoy the art, because I feel like listening to people's opinions and people's perspective on music and how they feel about music. But my thing is, on social media, it has become very toxic, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. Today's music climate has become very superficial. The era that we're living in right now is more of a superficial place and a superficial world, rather than authentic, rather than just being yourself. But at the same time, I feel like people, especially when it comes to their faves, I have some faves of mine in my on my favorite artist list, but I just enjoy the music. I don't care who I listen to. I have a lot of different artists, and I feel like things have really taken to another direction, but it's leaning more of like the lack of substance in music. And I know all the halupa, I know of all the commotion and all the chaos, but listen guys, I'm not going to even bring it up. I'll just my thoughts and my opinions will drop hints and gems on how I really feel, because my thing is, I just want something new. I want something fresh. I want real talent to come back to the forefront of music. And like I said, time and time again, I've said this, we have so much variety of real talented artists that should get the same exposure, that should get the support, and fans and stans buy the music. That's the only way. Because really, and that's another issue too, because instead of these fans and stans of today, some of them, not all of them, so clearly this is just for this is my observations, what I see from the ignorant fans and stans who feel like it's really all about image, it's all about numbers, it's just all about, like, instead of them appreciating the art of music from these artists, they would rather be so quick to be like, oh, okay, well, my fave gotta be so popular, my fave gotta have hit #1 records, my fave gotta have all this like accolades in the world. That's great, but they really fail to realize that even the artists, like the huge mainstream artists like before, that they came from humble beginnings. It didn't take overnight. Their success wasn't overnight. It takes years to develop and perfect your craft in music. I know this because I'm an artist myself, so it took years for me to develop and craft my paintings and my drawings. It didn't happen overnight. I had to work at my craft. I had to work at it, and sometimes as artists, we do feel like we're so in such a rut, or we're so like we don't know which direction that we want to go with our art. But as long as you have faith and as long as you believe in yourself, that's all that matters. F what a critic gotta say, F what a hater gotta say. This is your art, this is your soul, this is your passion. This is what you want to do for the long run. You want to be able to change the world with your art. And it's like, really, I don't really feel the same vibe of like today's music. I really don't, because I grew up in the era like 10 years ago, really 20 years ago. After that, 20 years ago. Because I remember 20 years ago, okay, I was, 20 years ago I was 17. And then I was, what, 7? I was 7 20 years ago. I hope I'm doing my math right. Yeah, 20 years ago. Yeah. Because I'm 27. So 20 years ago, let's flash back. Let's take a look down, back in the day where when I was 7 years old, it was a whole bunch of like talented artists coming out, and just so many variety of artists like with their talent. And back in the day, really it was more about the talent. It was just more about artists being able to find their lane in music. Yes, we've had comparisons. Yes, and oh my God, I'm about to drag. I'm about to go in. I'm gonna turn to a Super Saiyan. Whoever gets their feathers ruffled, this channel is not for you, because I'm not here for it. But I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later in this video. For those of y'all, stay tuned. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I see y'all. But when it came to artists being themselves, it was so many just different like talents in music, and the music was so good. It was so authentic. Like there were like really a lot of artists. Like we pretty much heard different artists like on the radio, like back to back, like on heavy rotation. We've heard like 5 different artists on the radio. I remember when I was little, I would hear like even the singers and the rappers. I would hear like 5 different artists on heavy rotation back to back. Like radio was so lit back in the day. Radio supported the music. Radio was so like, I mean, it was kind of like, because even artists that back in the day were not known yet, but they worked hard, and when they got the opportunities to break their foot in the door in the music business and had good connections and stuff like that, radio would be playing the music non-stop. And also we also had 106 and Park platforms. We had TRL. We pretty much had everything. We had the whole entire 9 yards. I feel like this generation is missing that. And also Soul Train too. This generation desperately needs to see, like, it's almost like once these platforms got taken away, got canceled, that's how I feel like even with these talented artists, it's almost like now it's just like the new age of social media. Like people will promote their favorite artists on social media, which is good, but at the same time I feel like we just still need to have like television shows that will promote these artists, will let people know who they are. And these artists that are really into their art and their like craft and their music, they should be able to book these stages. They should be able to go on promotions and go on like a radio station to promote their music. And back in the day, really, especially if you took your music seriously, and there are artists who do today, period, that do take their music seriously. It's just, like I said, all the nonsense and halupa, it's just a change, and the ship just went downhill. The entertainment industry has went downhill. Now it's just really trash and lack of substance. And I feel sorry for these artists. I have empathy that they really, it's kind of like they need more than just social media. Yeah, you can promote your fave 24/7 on social media if you want to, but you better make sure you save up your coins and buy that album when it releases. Okay, I have. So, like I said, you gotta really look at the bigger picture, because really, I also feel like even today's media, when it comes to like these artists trying to find a way to, have their voice heard in music, and then it's like these daggone radio stations, some of them that are ignorant, There's a lot of like, negative, you know, this negativity in like the blogs and the gossip, and then some of these radio stations, they bash these artists. I remember back in the day, years ago, the professionalism nowadays has went downhill. There's no professionalism. There's no really pretty good, positive sense of humor. It's always shade, it's always jokes, it's always kikiing, and really, that's not really cool. And this is my honest opinion, because if I was a radio like host, if I was a radio personality, I would have a sense of humor and crack jokes and all that good stuff. But I would promote these artists. I would be like, okay, yo, so like the questions like, oh, when did you start making music? How did you know that this is what was your passion about? Or like acts like who are your favorite musical influences? And especially, oh my god, I get sick and tired, especially when these interviews nowadays, okay, they'll ask questions like, okay, you've been in the game for a long time, and the things have changed in music and the shit have changed, but how do you feel as an artist, and do you still feel like that your music is still relevant? And the artists will say their opinions, and okay, we get that, cool. But then there's not enough questions like, okay, like this new album you got coming out, where was you mentally, in the process of making the album? Where was you at creatively? Like who did you work with on this new album? Like where was you? It's kind of like questions that people are so interested in music, like how many tracks will be on the album, stuff like that. Because I feel like, yeah, we get these questions like that same old like, oh, you've been in the game for like over 20 years, the music has changed and all of that, and then we get the answers like, okay, yeah, I know, yeah, things have changed or whatever. But I want these radio personality, like some of these like radio hosts, to step it up. You're supposed to engage with these people. You're supposed to ask questions that are really relevant to music in today's climate. You're supposed to get to know the artists, and especially for these, oh my god, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Like the legends like Brandy, she came back with her new album, B7. Y'all need to go check it out. I did a review. It's everything, period, the vocal Bible. She slayed on her new project. I'm so proud of being a star. I'm a fan of the vocal Bible, period, forever. We got like Toni Braxton, she gonna come out with a new album. Mariah Carey, that's my other fave. Mariah Carey came out with her new album. Well, technically, like her last album is still kind of new, but it came out like 2 years ago, right? Caution, 2018, but still, Mariah Carey is still a legend, an OG. Like Mariah Carey, that caliber of talent, like Mariah Carey and Brandy and Toni Braxton. Mary J. Blige came out with her last album, Strength of a Woman. That came out in 2017. And really, this is why I feel that I'm not throwing any shade to these new artists. I do support the current new artists of today, and like I said, I want them to have long-lasting careers over 20 years, over 30 years in the game. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something. What I find it very interesting is that some people, they just live in the now, and they don't really think about the future. And it's okay to live in the now, there's nothing wrong with it, but I always say, where do I want to be 10 years from now, or 20 years from now? What do I want to be doing? And some of these artists, no shade, no disrespect, but some of them have a mentality like, oh, okay, well, it's all about making hits. It's all about making hits. Oh, I gotta put out a whole bunch of hit records. That's cool. Of course you want to have hits. I mean, I would be lying to you. I would be saying, oh, as an artist, if I was a singer, songwriter, rapper, I don't want to have hits. No, you do want to have hits to your name. You really do. But you also want to make sure that as time goes on, because every artist, like I said, they were popular at one point, and then, like I said, their popularity died down, and it's pretty much, it happens to every artist. Just because, artists that had that popularity before and right now they're not popular as much, that does not make them irrelevant. That does not make them a flop. Oh, she's a flop. You need to shut your behind up, because flop is getting tired, guys. You've said flop for like how many years on certain artists, and I feel like that's really sad, really, to even artists that have really been like OGs in the game. I mean, they even know, like, okay, when they had their winning streak, when they were able to really have that popularity, they really, they knew, they said, you know what, I don't care, I'm gonna do this forever, I'm gonna have longevity. And this is why I feel like some people underestimate the underdogs in music, because it's kind of like when I look at how, other YouTubers, when they talk about how the music nowadays isn't as good as it was before, and it's the freaking truth. I honestly think it's the truth, because I don't really hear as much as I hear the same music over and over, repetitive lyrics, dumbed down lyrics. It's just trash. It's just whack. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and really, I have game too with some people saying, people really want to hear talent come back into the forefront. People really want to hear talented artists like be able to really like, just, bring music back to the forefront. And I kind of feel like, yeah, and like I said, it's kind of like today's radio. Most of these songs on the radio, really, to be honest, most of these songs on the radio, and this is just my honest opinion, you have the right to agree, you have the right to disagree. Most of these songs on the radio are the same. They have the same content, the same delivery. Every artist sounds the same. And that trap music, I love trap music, by the way, but that trap music, because like when I be out in the streets and I hear the same kind of music, the trap music, the trap mumble music has really oversaturated in the music market. And it's like artists with more of that creativity, they can do trap music. Because I've heard some artists, they do some really dope trap music. I love like that trap sound. But see, even the trap sounds of like, okay, perfect example. I grew up listening to Outkast. I grew up listening to T.I. And Lil Jon, East Side Boys. Perfect examples. They're like the pioneers of like the trap music and the crunk and B music, because I feel like, oh my gosh, I love Outkast. Outkast are one of like the pioneers of like hip hop of all time, because Outkast, they really took southern rap to another level. Like Outkast was so like into like that R&B, hip hop, funk, soul, rhythm, and blues. They really had like a very, their sound was so nostalgic. So nostalgic. It had that nostalgia, that fresh sound of like all like the rhythm and blues of like music and hip hop, R&B, and I would say funk and jazz and pop music too. And see, that's the thing. It's kind of like they put southern hip hop music back on the map. Same thing with T.I. And like I said, I love T.I.'s music and I listen. I don't care for his arrogant ways. Okay, I used to be a huge T.I. fan. Okay, I used to be a huge fan of T.I. But over years, he, I'm not really much of a fan of his, but I love his music. And I got some of his music. Like I said, I got some of his CDs. But his sound, T.I.'s sound, and his delivery and his rapping, T.I. definitely is one of my favorite rappers. I've always have loved his delivery, his flow, and his technique and his skill. But see, T.I., like, he was underground, and he really brought a lot of like that, he brought more of like that up-tempo, like rawness, grittiness of like that trap music. But his sound was more of like a combination of trap and hip-hop. One thing about T.I. will give credit, he has always had, a really good ear of music, and he delivered with his like melodic delivery of his tone, of his rapping, like his production with his music. You're gonna hear the trap. You're gonna hear like that trap. You know, more of like the vibe, of like the nostalgia of like trap and hip hop and R&B and pop music, because he did cross over in the pop market too. He really infused all of his, his artistry together into one sound. So I feel like T.I., of course, he's one of the pioneers of that trap music too. I also Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, Lil Jon, and how Lil Jon, he's a pioneer too, because that crunk and beat music, how that sound was so like huge and everybody was doing crunk and beat music. Usher, Sierra, Brooke Valentine, the East Side Boys, yeah, I remember them, Monica. I mean, every sound of music, like I said, it's going to emerge in a new day and age of music. It's going to happen every generation. Like, there's going to be a new sound of music. But I really like that, people pretty much now, as we, flash forward into 2020, it's just the same old, same old. It's like the trap music now and the mumble music is garbage. It's just, there's no soul to it, because really, I mean, I know people, they like their favorite artists and their favorite rappers. Cool, do you like their music? Cool. I don't like their music. I feel like it's pretty much repetitive. They just don't have like a really good ear of music, and their artistry pretty much is not as, hell, when I talk about T.I. and Outkast and Lil Jon and East Side Boys, and who else? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Pimp C and Bun B. Yeah, they are another definitely like rappers that they really set the bar high of like trap music and hip hop music. But yeah, I feel like we can get that back. And what I do, like I said, I don't really like today's music as much, because also really when it comes to like R&B music and hip hop music, it's like we still have a long way to go. But see, it's so sad, because it's like even with the R&B singers, they have started to struggle throughout the years, because I feel like I mentioned like Brandy and Monica. Of course, I gotta mention Aaliyah. She's a pioneer in R&B music. Toni Braxton. Who else? Sierra. Keisha Cole, Mary J. Blige, Tamia. It's a whole bunch. For the fellas, Usher, Chris Brown, Omari on Trey Songz. But see, that's the thing. It's kind of like now, as I look into the future of music, I mean, we're still going to have like artists that are going to emerge, and artists that will be able to really redefine the sound of music. Who else? Alicia Keys. I can't forget Alicia Keys. Beyonce, Destiny's Child, TLC. So really now, 2020, I just want to see and hear the same thing happen again this year and the years after that, because I feel like we're getting there. And I do know we are getting there. I mean, pretty much I see how Ari Lennox, SZA, Ella Mai, who else? Her, Tinashe, Summer Walker, who else? Khalid. Yeah, so I pretty much have been really keeping tabs of like, who's hot right now, and they're killing it. And also Normani. I cannot forget Normani. And I would say June's Diary. Yeah. So those are like the people, like, really, in my honest opinion, they are pretty much the up and coming new generation of like R&B singers and pop stars too. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. Let me tell you guys about what I saw about Normani. Oh boy, I'm gonna end up ranting, but I don't care, because I'm gonna tell you something. Normani is the next Normani. And this is what's really frustrating. And I am very concerned for her as a fan, because I feel like I said, of course, as a dedicated fan of my favorite artist, of course I'm be concerned. But this is healthy, constructive criticism. But also, I'm going to defend Normani. Because let me tell you something. Normani will be the next Normani. And, it's sad that, in a way, people say they want her to win. But then I look and scroll on my Twitter timeline. I'm like, I'm seeing some of these, hating mofos. I'm seeing some of these shading mofos. Because really, it's like this. Normani to be at the caliber for herself. And no, I'm not going to even go there, because some people have been trying it and have been trying to make it seem like that she's going to be the next or someone else. Well, that will never happen. That will never happen. How can she be the next so-and-so when she's herself? And then I be seeing these other ignorant fans when they be shading like, oh, well, she'll never be so-and-so. Ain't nobody said she was going to be so-and-so to begin with. But that's just ignorant folk, because I feel like Normani can't be but Normani. Normani is talented. Normani can sing, can dance. And then, this is what really, really bothers me in some ways too, but it's irritating, because I feel like it's a broken record. Let Normani make the music that she wants to make. And until people stop putting black artists in the box, because if we look back at the greats and pioneers of music, I feel like listening to discussions and open dialogues of other people too, because they was like, well, why should black artists be placed in like one genre, or why should black artists have to be placed in like two genres? But when Normani, especially with Normani, because like I said, because when I did my Whitney Houston happy birthday tribute, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. And I feel like Whitney Houston is a perfect example. She was able to really cross over into the pop market. And then back in the day, the black people, the ignorant ones, like, oh, well, she should do R&B. Oh, her music ain't good because she's doing pop. I'm like, Whitney Houston will always be a trailblazer. That's why she really trailblazed for Brandy. Because we look at Brandy, we look at, Brandy's career, her music, her catalog. There will never be another Brandy. Just like there will never be another Whitney. So for Normani, it's like there will never be another Normani. So we have to look into that. We have to take that into consideration. So instead of just judging based on, of course people are going to judge her music. And like I said, all those music, the music that she has put out so far, in my honest opinion, and then people say, well, Normani should just do R&B first and then she can cross over. I do agree, but then on the other side, I feel like, well, if Normani gets the right single, right, and her sound, whatever it is, whether it's R&B, whether it's pop, whether it's a mixture of different elements, and she gets the right promotion, and she gets the right singles lined up, and she gets everything lined up for her the right way, her promotion team, they're going to have to really go all the way out, period. Because I feel like Normani should not have to just be struggling, trying to, break through in mainstream market. And for her being a black woman, for her being a dark-skinned black woman of color, yes, she needs people that know what they're doing, that actually are genuine, that they be like, okay, this is going to be the right sound for you. And make sure that she's authentic. Make sure that she knows what she wants to do with her music. And what's so sad, at the same time I'm getting kind of a little bit nervous, because I feel like when Normani releases her new single, I don't know when, I don't know, like I said, I'm pretty sure, my honest opinion, she may, but it's kind of like, for me, I feel like, okay, this is August. Okay, this is August. So I hope that she release a new single this year after the summer. She should release a new single in the fall. She should, because I feel like I said, the last single that she released, okay, Motivation, that was how many, oh, actually that was last year. So yeah. But yeah, and I love Motivation, but see, that's the thing. That song itself, that's a step in the right direction for her to really cross over as a pop artist too in music. So we need to see Normani win, because Normani has already showcased her vocal ability, her dancing ability, the way her stage presence. So I feel like Normani basically, she will be able to really take the reins and really craft her own sound and, just be Normani. I don't expect Normani to be someone else. That's not going to happen. Okay? Normani can't be nobody but Normani. And that's just how it is. Because looking at how Normani fans, Normani Nation, we know we go hard for her. We really do. We want to see her win. But I really hate to see how these damn trolls always be hating on her. I mean, it's like, it's one thing not to like a person, but to hate on them constantly, to put them down, to tear them down. I'm gonna throw a gallon gun, and I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't really care, because I don't. And I feel like, Normani, she's unproblematic. She minds her business. She's really trying to get out there. She's really trying to prove herself first. She's really trying to prove herself first. That's her main goal, and her fans. Okay, and then the mainstream last. That's just my honest opinion. Because when you believe in yourself, you do have to prove yourself first. Then you'll have people believe you. But I feel like, Normani definitely is like one of these artists that I want to see win, because she has it all. She has the talent. She's been in the girl group Fifth Harmony. We already know about Fifth Harmony. So now as a solo artist, she is really getting herself out there and as a solo artist. And I don't want her to dim her light for nobody. I don't want her to dim her artistry for nobody, because I'm tell you something. Like I said, when it comes to black women in music, and I know for the dark-skinned black women in music, they need to really, look out for themselves. And it's okay to be selfish. Now, it's okay to be selfish, because when it comes to your work, your music, your passion, of course you want people to help you. I'm talking about good people, genuine people that know what they're doing. People ain't trying to sabotage you. People ain't trying. And I'm going to tell you something, just like I said, Normani, like I said, her management, her team, I just pray that they get themselves together. And like I said, all I want for Normani is to make good music. I want her to make good music. I want her, wherever she's feeling, as an artist, whatever she wants to talk about, speak on it. Let it be authentic. Let it be Normani. Because I really want her to bring back that R&B, pop, nostalgia, soul music. And also I want her to really infuse different sounds in her music and her artistry, so that she can stand out. She don't need to sound the same. She really shouldn't sound the same just like everybody else. She shouldn't be sounding like songs, that she should be sounding like Normani. Her music should be Normani. That's all I want. And I believe in her, and I will always be a fan. I've always been a fan. I've always had ride or die for my other faves. Bought all their music, regardless of all the hate, regardless of these toxic mofos, regardless of me dragging people, you know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. Normani, she's the next in line for herself. She's not going to be another whatever. She's Normani. Because real fans, and especially with some of her, critics that shade her, it's almost like, say stuff like, oh, well, y'all hype her up, but she ain't going to do nothing. Y'all hype her up to be the next song. So I'm like, that proves my point. She can't be the next song, so because it's not gonna work. I mean, it's just not gonna work. And I feel like all the things that she's went through in her music career, that should really ignite her more and have that like motivation to be like, yo, I don't care what nobody says, I'm gonna be the next in line for me. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody who has inspired me, and I have really loved the greats that came before me, that there would never be another them. So the same thing can happen for me, because really with these comparisons, and these comparisons, for her, and I know of one comparison, like I said, and I am a fan of that person, okay, but it's like out of respect, it's like my thing is I'm tired of people trying to, just put somebody down, and then they see, you praise somebody else, and then we get this damn, oh well, she may not be this and she ain't gonna be that. It's like, okay, fine, don't even support the girl. You don't like the girl, you don't like her, you hate her, whatever, that's your damn business. I'm still gonna be a fan, okay? Alright, carry on. Citation Beyonce, that's my other item and fave. So yeah, so it's like listening to people's opinions, because I sit back, and just because I don't say nothing as much on Twitter, just because I don't say nothing, that don't mean that I don't know, because I know, okay? I know what's going on. Just because I don't say nothing, just because, I don't, say how I really want to feel, but on this channel, it's different. This is my channel, So, like I said, all bets are off, because I feel like just seeing how music right now, we just need to see more of a variety. We need to see more of a balance. We need to see music and art come back to the forefront, and it's going to take a while. Now, I will say I am very impressed by albums that I have listened to, by artists that I have listened to, and you guys, don't be afraid to check out my reviews and my opinions on, like, albums that released this year, because really the people that really put in the work, it's going to show. People that really put in that work of taking their time, being productive with their craft, their passion, they're going to put in the work, and it takes time and it takes energy. You're going to go through your trials and your errors. You're going to go through little nicks and crannies, but at the end of the day, it's a work of art. At the end of the day, all I care about is just the final result. And, as long as, like, these artists put in their best work, that's all that matters. Now, I'm going to talk about another situation, too. When some people complain about artists that release albums and they still make music, and then they complain, and then they listen to the new album, right? And yes, when you listen to a new album from your fave, you get very excited, because, like I said, Brandy released her new album B7 on July 31st. It's still in stores, so please grab your copy, grab your physical copy if you haven't yet, or you can listen to the album for free on YouTube or whatever. But that's the thing, I feel like, listening to Brandy's new album, it's just so beautiful. It's just Brandy, period. And I have seen some critics and even some of the stars, like, cause we be like chatting, and we be like, things get lit in the chat box. I mean, we be like chatting it up and stuff like that. But then we have seen some people that have been like bashing on the album. Some people, critics, and like people in German bashing on the album too, and then people complain about, like, well, it's not like Aphrodisiac, or it's not like 211, or it's not like her debut album. And I'm like, what the fudge? How can you, like, you can't just appreciate that your favorite artist just released new music, but then you want to compare it to Aphrodisiac. Aphrodisiac is one of my favorite albums too from Brandy's catalog. But it's kind of like, instead of you comparing a last project to another project, and you want to bash this new project, oh well, it's not like Aphrodisiac. It was not expected to be like Aphrodisiac, because the name of the album is B7. Common sense, people. Perfect example. The album is B7. This is not Aphrodisiac. If you want to listen to Aphrodisiac, you need to listen to Aphrodisiac, if that's what you want to listen to. But that's another thing. It's really cringeworthy and it's really irritating that some people want to just. It's almost like the lack of appreciation for music and some of these artists. Like, and hell, Brandy B7. This is her first project in what, 8 years? Because Brandy had put out her last album what, in 2012. That was what, how many years ago? Yeah, it was 8 years. So it's like, I just feel like even listening to this album, it's just so beautiful. It's like she touches your soul with her music. And Brandy has always been a gem in music, and I'm so happy that she is getting the flowers that she deserves. She's getting the praise that she deserves. Because really, like I said, she really is one of like the gifted, talented artists that paved the way in music for her generation. But yeah, that's another issue that some people love to just complain about. Oh yeah, well, this new album ain't really all of that. I mean, if you don't like the album, fine, that's your honest opinion. But to just bash on it and be like, oh, well, it's not like something else, I'm like, no. It wasn't expected to be the last project, because whatever direction she was going for with her music, what was on her mind, whatever that she felt that she wanted to put out in her music, what she wanted to talk about, her experiences, and that took a lot of time for her. And I feel like on this new album, she really, really did a damn thing. I mean, this is going to be another one of her best albums, in my honest opinion. Right up there with Aphrodisiac and right up there with Full Moon. And Never Say Never. Because those are pretty much the top of in my honest opinion, those are like the top of the line albums. Because I know Brandy fans, most of them, they love Full Moon, Aphrodisiac, those two, because the production, those albums have more like that hip hop feel, R&B sound music, and the alternative music too, because Brandy's music is like, she is pretty much like a chameleon of like that R&B, hip hop, alternative kind of sound, and it really matches well with the production. And her production with her music is really, really good, because the production doesn't lack like that. It just doesn't lack production. It has more value. It has contrast. The melodies are so beautiful. They're very like, layered together in different like harmonies and different sounds. So my thing is, I feel like Brandy, of course, will always be a pioneer, because she really set the bar high for herself as a talented artist during the 90s. And that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like, that's what I want these new artists to do. I want them to express themselves. I want them to set the bar high, because like I said, nowadays it's kind of like people just put out a music and a song and it's just all about the visuals, when really it should be about the production, the visuals, everything, the whole entire 9 yards. And I feel like even, seeing constructive criticism, other people, how they express their disdain for like the music that's out today being promoted, and how they're saying like the music is trash. I do agree with them, because like I said, the music is just not really, you got artists, they really bring it, and then those are artists that really, like I said, in the long run, they will be able to put out really good content. They will be able to experiment with their music. So, I feel like fans and stands, they gotta get out that ignorance of like, it's almost like just tearing artists down, complaining about artists, and especially the OG artists, because I'm gonna tell you something, there's a whole bunch of OG artists that I still listen to. I still bump to their music, because really, especially in hip hop, I don't listen to today's mumble rap music. I can't stand it. I don't like it. I just really don't. There's just no substance. All these rappers, all they talk about is the same thing. That's all they talk about. And then they sound the same, which is really irritating. I mean, hell. And then some rappers, they want to be rappers, but when you lack creativity and you lack the range in music, that's all you're going to be talking about. The same thing over and over and over. You have to really find a niche and a sound for yourself that can stand out, that you're able to be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is my work of art, whether people like it or not. So if your fans dig it, your real fans, they'll support you regardless, and that's just how it is. And I feel like even when, like I said, just listening to like, different sounds of music and different artists, I get a better perspective of where they're coming from with their music. I get a better perspective of who they are as artists, and instead of just always comparing them to other artists, I'm like, each artist has his or her own lane. This and this is the reason why, I pretty much want to be able to promote these artists on my, channel, and other, people should as well, because especially if you love music, you should be able to promote these artists. You should be able to like know the latest and keep up with that, especially if you're a music lover. And even artists that recently like have released new albums, like Victoria Monet, her new album, Jaguar. No, she is another gem. She is very talented. I really love her music, and she's a dope artist. And I feel like she's another one that's bringing back like the sound of like R&B and hip hop and disco and dance music. And I love dance music too, because I grew up listening to like the 70s music and the 80s music. But at the same time, I was like, okay, cool. Victoria Monet really, really did her homework, and she was able to really put out an album that was pretty much, the real deal. And it took a while for her to really, get herself out there. I'm very proud of her. I'm glad that she was able, like I said, because I know like behind the scenes, she's a singer and she's a songwriter, which is great, because I have seen how even the singers and songwriters, like, they really put in the work. But when they put out their music as well, they should get support too, because they be helping other artists, with the hit records. They be like the masterminds, the creative minds of like songwriting and all that great stuff. So they should be able to do it all too, And I like that, it's pretty much like I said. I like what I'm seeing right now in music, and I feel like, well, the people that I'm seeing right now in music that really are just put in the work, we should be able to really, like I said, embrace them and really like support them, But yeah, I really, like I said, I feel like, for me to say in today's music, market, it's just, you just gotta do research. And for me to say like how fans and stands ruin the art of music, I mean, they have, in some ways they have. I mean, it's just so much toxic. It is so much of that, like, it's just too much, And if you really want to see these artists win, you want them to see them win, you have to buy the music. You can't just be on social media. You gotta save up your coins, just like you save up your coins for everything else. You buy what you want to buy. If you're a lover of music, buy the music. Help the artists. And yes, I understand the streaming is pretty much the new era and the new generation of how music consumers buy, but also music consumers should continue to buy CDs, because pure album sales, in my honest opinion, that's really important. Back in the day, artists were able to really, really like buy music and sell albums and sell records, and even some of them, they had like what, diamond albums, platinum albums, gold albums, and they're, like I said, I don't even, oh boy, yeah, times have changed. Because it's like, really, people aren't really selling as much as they used to back in the day. And then that's how that whole thing about, oh my gosh, your fave's a flop. Just shut the heck up, okay? I want to say what I really want to say, but I'm trying to be classy. But it's kind of like, I mean, I don't know. I all I'm saying is, from what I've seen and from other people's opinions and their perspective, I agree, because I feel like, at this point, we just gonna have to step it up. We just gonna have to push through. We gonna have to power on through. And like I said, shout out to like real dedicated fans who aren't about the drama, who aren't about the, all this extra stuff, because really, we the ones make a difference. We buy the albums. We really, really buy the albums, and we enjoy the music. we're the ones that go out and buy the music. We're the ones that go out and go to concerts and stuff. So that being said, I feel like, you know, aside from the ignorant fans and stands, you know, my perspective is, you know, just buy the music. And also, I'm going to get to another topic that I want to talk about. Underrated artists, even the OG underrated artists, and I have vented on my Twitter a couple days ago because I really feel like this is why I support my faves, and this is why I go all the way in, and I have to really, really, you know, it's just like this, you know, some of these artists that I really grew up with, and then even some of these so-called fans. Alright, I gotta spill some tea too, but I'll say this. Some of the fans that know that artists grow, artists change, they're, you know, and some artists, they have really progressed throughout the years. And I was having a conversation with Sierra fans, right? And I'm C Squad too. And you know, we just talked about the era of Fantasy Ride, and some of the fans were like, yeah, you know, that's my favorite album. And, you know, and how, like I said, Sierra had went through all this, you know, she had really pushed through in the music business, because I feel like people didn't appreciate her artistry. And also, like I said, you know, she was really, like I said, when Sierra came out slaying. Sierra was the dance and the singing, you know. I mean, she pretty much is like a legend, hands down. You know what I'm saying? Because Sierra, people have always loved to discredit Sierra. They've always loved to say, oh, Sierra wasn't all that. But no, Sierra came out with these dancing videos, these hit songs. We know Sierra's music catalog, okay? We know Sierra's music catalog. But Sierra pretty much had to really find her lane in music. She really had to really revamp her career. But Sierra was always that authentic artist. And I feel like some people, they wanted Sierra to be something that she wasn't. And especially, you know, she had success, you know, during the goodies and during the evolution era. But like when it got to Fancy Ride, Sierra had some hating ass bees hating on her behind the scenes. Didn't want her to really win. Didn't want her to really flourish. And pretty much did not want her to really reach her full potential. And like I said, she has reached her full potential because she has really pushed through despite, you know, things that she went through, the challenges in the music business. But some people, they tried to, you know, pull her back, and then they didn't really want her to really expand and explore her music options. And see, the thing is with Fancy Ride, it's one of my favorite artists because, my favorite albums, because I feel like that album, as a Sierra fan, I mean, she really, you know, she explored with different sounds. You know, she really made sure that, you know, her music was her, but she, you know, it was really, to be honest, time for her to really cross over into the pop market anyway. And I feel like that's what she did. That's what she really did, because it's kind of like she really had to really find for herself her sound. It's almost like all the shit Sierra went through, people hating on her and all that, and then throughout all these years, people call her a flop. You know, and I'm like saying to myself, really? She's a flop? Okay. Well, this flop still, like I said, sold, like, I know she sold over 24 million records. Yeah, she sold over, like, what, 20 something million albums, and then she got her Grammy. And like I said, she has always been like the underdog. She has always been like, people always try to really like put her down, but no, she always came through. And one of the things that I love about Sierra is like her humble, you know, she's humble, she's gracious. And I've seen Sierra in concert 3 times, and it was such a blessing to see her at the Beauty Marks tour, and how she was able to really express her gratefulness and just see her, just a beautiful soul. I mean, people have always tried to pull her down, but I tell you what, she be coming through. You know what she said, When she hit the stage, she gonna black bag that bitch. That's what she said. That's what she said. When she hit the stage, she gonna black bag that bitch. That's what and that's something that I will always appreciate, because even with the rest of the C Squad, we be like, yeah, we really, really, really held it down for her. We really held down the fort for her. We have been so grateful to see Sierra grow and evolve as an artist. We have always, like, the real fans. I even, follow some of them on social media, and it's like, it's amazing that Sierra really has grown into the artist that she wants to be. She really has been like one of the, like, pretty much the underrated artists, but she has always been successful, and she really, like, has achieved a high level of success just like her peers. It's just that she, like I said, some people didn't really want to see her win. Some people didn't want to really see her win. But as another black female talented artist that really pushed through and is singing and dancing, and of course her inspirations are from Michael and Janet Jackson, who both of them are my faves. And Michael and Janet, they're the blueprint. Because if it hadn't been for them two, we wouldn't have gotten what, we really wouldn't have gotten, more greats. We wouldn't have gotten more greats. We wouldn't have gotten like Usher and Sierra and Chris Brown and who else? Neo, Mario, and Maya and Aaliyah. Who else? Who else? Oh, Mario. Mario don't get enough credit either. Mario does not get enough credit. I love Mario because Mario, he was able to really, like, sing and dance and stuff. I mean, Mario's like, Mario, when he came out with years ago, that song, I mean, he came out like swing. But so I feel like listening to how people really want music to be coming through back to the forefront. We need that. But yeah, Sierra, she'll always be one of my favorite artists. I have all of her albums because I buy music, and like I say, Sierra, of course I had to talk about her because I feel like that's the thing. People pretty much, when it comes to like these fans and stands, you gotta really, really be appreciative of life. You have to really be appreciative. You can't, because some people, they don't really understand the value of life, and they just live in the moment. They live in the now. It's in the now, and it's in the now. I mean, in that perspective, you do want to live in the now. There's nothing wrong with that, but you also want to think about, where do I want to be 10 years from now. And you chase after your dreams, you chase after your goals, and don't let nobody put you down. Don't let nobody tear you down. I'm telling you, if they do throw a galley gun, you can do it. So, you can't let haters and naysayers and miserable people put you down, because it's something about them that they're going through. So they're projecting their ugliness on you. It's not you. It's the other way around. So, I mean, and like I said, music is the art of the soul. That's why I feel like more artists, current artists and future artists, they should take that into consideration while they're making their music now. I can imagine, of course, there are a whole bunch of talented artists underground that we may not know of, that we may not have heard of, but years from now, while they're creating, while they're making their music, and while they're writing, while they're singing and rapping and doing all that cool stuff, but at the same time know the business, protect themselves, protect their reputation, know their worth as artists, okay? Because I'm not here for that other shit folk be trying to do. Make sure that they focus on what they want to do and bring it. Because when their time comes, it's going to happen. I feel like, too, that was really exciting, too, because I feel like, just watching documentaries and watching, like, Unsung and watching, like, behind the music. Because I really can actually see these artists for who they are. I just look at them as artists. I look at them as human beings. And I'm not like a, like I said, I know they're celebrities too, but I just look at them as human beings. Okay. Like my favorite artist, Mary J. Blige, said, "Deep inside, I'm just Mary," and that, oh my God, Mary inspires me in so many ways because Mary J. Blige is a perfect example. She's another artist that really set the bar high in R&B and hip hop music and soul music. And listen, there will never be another Mary J. Blige, of course. There will never be another Mary J. Blige, but like I said, when I was a little girl, that's all I was listening to, Mary J. Blige. And she really pushed me. She really helped me through hard times too. Because even with Mary J. Blige is one of these artists that longevity. Still putting out music, still staying current, but her music is authentic. Whatever sound, whatever direction, she still makes good music. And like I said, she's still, in a way, and not putting nobody down, not shame, but she still got it, period. She still got it, period. Just like the rest of her peers, just like the rest of them, because it's like, you really have to think about how your favorite artists in the long run, you want them to be having successful music careers, but you also want them to have longevity so they can pave the way for the next generation. Same thing with them. Same thing, artists that pave the way for them, they got to do the same thing. So, yeah, that's just how it is. It works, that's just how it is. Because really, it's like, yeah, I mean, hell, shoot, we got Toni Braxton, she gonna put out her new album, and other people gonna put out their new albums. Hey, that's just how it is. But with that being said, guys, I feel like I have really spilled a lot what's on my mind. And I hope that this video, we should have conversations, and please do not be afraid to share your thoughts. Please don't be afraid to share your opinions. I look forward to seeing and reading the comments, interacting with you guys. I want you guys to know that, like I said, we can make a difference, when it comes to supporting our favorite artists. And yeah, and like I said, this fan stan stuff and all that, it's okay to be a fan, it's okay to be a stan, but when it's unhealthy and it's toxic, I'm not here for that crap. It's just not gonna work. Okay, so yeah, so let's get it popping. And yeah, so please not be afraid to like, share, comment, and subscribe down below. Please do not be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Please do not be afraid to hit that notification button. And as always, stay tuned on the next episode of Give It Sense 92, Dragon Ball Z narrative reference. Peace, bye-bye, your girls exiting out. The Super Saiyan's out.